this is James, and I'd like to welcome you to the Oracle Outlook for the week starting September the 3rd, 2018. Before getting into this week's reading, I'd like to share with you all a milestone that the channel has reached. As of the time I'm shooting this video, the channel has now reached 1,000 subscribers. So I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of my subscribers, those of you who have recently subscribed, to help push it over the 1,000 mark, the subscriber count that is, as well as all of you who have subscribed throughout the lifespan of this channel. So it just means so much to me that you all have taken that step to subscribe and allow me a little bit of space into your world every time I post a video. So again, thank you each and every one of you who have subscribed to help make this milestone happen. I couldn't do it without any of you, so thank you again. This week I was feeling inclined to work with Lenormand, so the deck that's going to be assisting me for this week's reading is once again the Rana George Lenormand by Rana George and Callie French, and it is published by US Game Systems Incorporated. So I have the deck on hand. We're going to get right into the reading. And I'm going to take a few moments to shuffle the cards. And as I shuffle the cards, I'm focusing on my usual intention and question for these weekly general readings, and that is, what do we need to know for the week ahead? Alright, I'm feeling that's going to do it. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck. And fan the cards out. And now I'm going to be picking 5 cards from the line or the fan, and that's going to represent our line of 5 reading for the week. And this one. That's card number 5, so I have the 5 cards selected. Now I'm taking the remainder of the deck and I'm going to put that to one side. And now I have the 5 cards face down in front of me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the middle card first. For me, the middle card always represents the central issue, or something that we're being asked to focus on for the week going forward. So taking a look at the card, we have Bouquet. So Bouquet is a card that can represent a surprise, it could represent an invitation, it could represent a gift. So those are some possibilities for each of us, because we are not all going to have the same collective experience, right? So each of us may have a personal experience, and so it could fall into one of those categories. It's either there's a focus on something of a surprising nature. There's something having to do with a gift, and then so that could be a gift exchange. Either you are bestowing a gift to someone else, or you are on the receiving end of a gift. And the reason why I'm saying it that way is because when I have a card such as this in the middle of the line, it says it could go one way or the other, right? Or it could be a mutual thing, which means that it goes both ways, right? So there is that to consider. It could also be an invitation, and the surrounding cards would give us more of an idea of what the nature of the invitation could be. But when I look at Bouquet, I automatically think of a surprise, a gift, or some type of invitation. Now, going along with some of those a little bit more, the surprise could be something pleasant, something beautiful, something wonderful, because Bouquet fits all of those as terms of traits or characteristics or qualities. So there is that. So if it is a surprise, it may be something of a pleasant nature, and again, unless surrounding cards say otherwise. If it is of a gift, this isn't something else that's coming to me. When we talk about a gift, it could be a gift exchange where somebody buys a material gift to give to another person. It could be that. Or that there's something about your own internal gift. Each of us, I believe, is gifted with something, right? And that may be what this card this week is asking you to focus on. What is your gift, and who are you meant to share it with? Because here's the thing about gifts, and I learned this when people want to know what their spiritual gifts are. You're the custodian of the gift, right? You may think it's your gift, and to some degree that is true. As the custodian of the gift, it is your gift. Your role with that is to hone it, to refine it, to perfect it, because in truth, the gift is meant for those who are on the receiving end of it, right? So it is your gift, and it also isn't your gift, right? That's how I look at it anyway. Our gift, whatever it is, it's something that we're meant to hone, practice, refine, perfect, and then we share it with other people because it's really meant for them, right? So I'm harping on that for a reason. This could be the week where you are putting a greater focus, a greater concentration, greater attention on what your gift is, with the idea that you're the custodian of it and that you're meant to perfect it so that you could share it with those who need to receive it, right? So there's that to consider. Along with that, you may have a gift, keeping with that, that receives some kind of appreciation, because bouquet is about talent, gift and talent, but also about receiving some kind of appreciation for that. So there is that to consider as well. The one final thing, or at least I thought two final things that I want to say about the bouquet. Bouquet can also be about this idea about making arrangements, going with the idea that on the card is an image of a floral arrangement. So I call this the making arrangements card. So there may be a focus or a concentration on making certain kinds of arrangements. And again, the surrounding cards may give us more about that in terms of information. And then the final thing I want to say is, going with the playing card insert, is that this card carries with it the Queen of Spades. So there could be a woman who is at the center of whatever is going to be unfolding for some of us this week. With that in mind, the Queen of Spades in Lenormand suggests a woman who's beautiful and attractive, or a woman who's very creative, very talented in that regard. She can be a person who works either in the arts, does something of an artistic nature, or she does things that beautify things. I tend to look at her as a beautician, so that could be a hairstylist, a makeup person, fashion designer, anybody who works with the idea of wanting to beautify either people or spaces. So that's just another layer of meaning this week, is that there could be a woman who plays a prominent part in whatever unfolds this week. And it could be, again, pertaining to a gift, an invitation, or some sort of surprise. So that is bouquet. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a look at the cards that are immediately flanking the bouquet card, because they'll offer us more information. So on the left of bouquet, and that would be my left, here we have one of the extra cards in the deck, and this is the bed card. So bed is a card that can represent rest. So again, it could be this idea of maybe winding down, maybe giving yourself the gift of relaxation, getting some rest, that kind of thing. Because this scene here is a bedroom, and so for me the first impulse is about rest, relaxation, winding down, those kinds of things. So it could just be a matter of people actually need to give themselves the gift of rest, or even the gift of sleep. Could be like, maybe one of the things is that you're sleep deprived, or that your sleeping patterns are off. So it could be, how could you give yourself the gift of sleep this week? The other thing about this particular card is that it can represent this idea about intimacy, because the bedroom is where we perform intimate acts with another person. So this could just be a greater call for intimacy. Now, I mentioned the space, so this could be on some level physical intimacy, which means that there may be something of a sexual nature, or we're doing something concerning or regarding our sexual relationship or sexual activity this week. So that could be for some people, right? And some people may want to consider the idea that sex can be a beautiful thing if we pair the bed card and the bouquet card, this could be sex and sexual activity being a beautiful thing. And so that could just be for maybe those who may have, you know, some challenging ideas around that, and they're needing to work through that, is how can you consider sex and sexual activity to be beautiful, wonderful, and pleasant. And that would be, especially if it maybe that wasn't your experience in the past, right? So there is that. Now, since I said in the past, this just thought popped in, or I should say this thought just popped in regards to the bed card. This could be this idea about putting something to rest or to bed, right? So there may be a situation unfolding this week in which we need to kind of resolve it to some degree. That's what the phrase putting an issue to bed or to rest means, meaning like what can we do to resolve an issue, right? So there is that. And the other adage that's popping into my mind, and I play with phrases and associations, is that this card could be suggesting that the expression that's coming to mind is that you've made your bed, now you have to lie in it, which means that, you know, there may be something that you have to realize that it's the consequences of a prior choice or a decision, right? And you get and you have to kind of work that out or walk through that or live through that. So I'm seeing two things, either a need to put something to bed, put something to rest, or that you're coming to the sense of awareness around you've made your bed, now you have to lie in it. So that is the bed card. Now on the other side, here we have, okay. So here we have dog on the other side, right? So dog for me, my first go-to meanings for dog is that this can represent a friend or a partner. So this could be a partnership issue that we're talking about, a relationship issue that we're talking about, that kind of thing. But it can also be in terms of some of the other things that I talked about. This could be about help and support and assistance. So it could be like maybe there's an invitation, going with bouquet coming before dog, an invitation for help, support, or assistance, which means that maybe you're giving someone else the gift of your help, support, and assistance. Or again, going with the idea that bouquet was in the middle of the line, and I was seeing it as something that can go one way or the other, or something that's mutual, it goes both ways, is that you could also receive the gift of someone else's help, support, and assistance. So that's one way of looking at these, right? It could be also a gift, a surprise, or invitation involving a friend. Again, going with the idea that dog can represent friendship, right? So it could also be the gift of friendship, right? And with that, then dog can also represent loyalty. So with that friendship, there may be loyalty with that because somebody's giving you that. The gift of friendship, the gift of loyalty is how I would see these cards. So it's making me feel, in terms of what I talked about, maybe a gift or talent or ability, how can you share that with other people that might benefit them in terms of help, support, and assistance, right? So that's how I'm looking at that. Now, if we mirror the cards, the bed card and the dog card, then we may have a situation where we have to put an issue to bed or to rest that may involve a friend, right? Or that if we're going to put an issue to bed or to rest, then we might need some help and support or assistance with that, right? Now, if we go with the idea that bed represents intimacy, this could be intimacy with a friend, intimacy, with a partner. And again, that may bring, if we talk about partner, that may bring up this idea about, physical intimacy, right? And if that's the case, somebody may be contemplating the idea of taking perhaps a friendship to another level. And if that's the case, it's because on some level we trust the person, right? Because again, the dog is someone who's trustworthy, or that we believe our partner is faithful, because those are qualities of the dog as well, faithful and faithfulness, right? So it could just be a matter of putting an issue to bed or to rest that may involve a friend, right? Now it could be you've made your bed, now lie in it, and that again could involve a friend or a partner. I'm looking at this though as how can we form either greater intimacy with our friends or in our friendships this week, or how can we form a greater sense of intimacy with our partners this week. So those are my thoughts looking at these two cards, bed and dog. Now, taking a look at the outer cards, when I read the card this way, the outer cards tend to be some information as to how this situation could resolve itself or a summation of it. So with the card in the far left, here we have, I had a feeling this card was going to show up. And this is why. It's the man card. So I actually saw this card in my head as I was contemplating what deck to use for this week's reading. So here we have the man. So if you're a woman watching this video, the man would represent a man who's playing a significant role or part in this experience for you this week. If you're a man, then the man card would represent you to some degree. So now, first thing I notice is that he's facing all the other cards in the line. So with direction in mind, this is a week where a man is looking forward to certain situations that are being reflected in the other cards as an overall experience. So we'll take a closer look at them this week. But the first card that I want to take a look at before we do that is the other card. On the other end of the line, we have, oh my gosh, you can't make this stuff up. This is so interesting. Okay, so on the other side of the line, we have the lady card. You can't make this stuff up. So here we have the lady card. So here we have two people on opposite ends of the spectrum. We have a man and a woman. So this is actually about a relationship between a man and a woman this week, right? If we go with the idea of mirroring the cards, they are actually facing each other. So now this is very good because they are facing each other. So this, for most of us, is going to be a relationship context this week. So now, having said that, let's be really clear on the context of this. For some people, this could actually be you and your partner, right? But if you're not involved, then this could just be someone on the same level of you who has some importance or significance in your life. So that is one way of looking at it, because I just don't want to do a blanket thing and make it all about love and romance when a lot of us may not be in that experience, myself included, right? I'm counting myself in. I'm not in a relationship, so for me, this wouldn't fit the context. As a reader, for myself, if I looked at these two cards for me, and I am part of the collective experience like I talked about last week, this would represent me being the gentleman and maybe a woman that I know of who's on the same level as me. So she could be a peer or a colleague, but she also has some significance or importance in my life, right? So that is how I would look at that. So again, for some of us, this could be a love relationship, a romantic relationship. But if that doesn't fit, if that doesn't resonate, if that's not where you're at this space and time in your life, then this would just be a person of the opposite gender who has a significant or important role in your life, right? So there's that. So now, whatever the context of the relationship, the middle cards are saying this is what is the experience for each of the parties this week, right? So having said that, if we start with the cards on the far left, here we have the man card, and he's closest to the bed card. So again, all the things that I said with the bed card may involve him in particular. So for some people, if we are talking about physical intimacy, if we are talking about something of a sexual nature, if we are talking about a sexual relationship, then a man is involved in that, right? So there is that. If we're talking about this idea of putting an issue to bed or to rest, then the man facing this is saying this is something that he is possibly looking forward to, or something that is going to be coming up for him in his near future, because this is the card that's closest to him. If we go with the idea that this is about, getting sleep, getting rest, remember I talked about that as a physical possibility. If it's not about physical intimacy, it could just be this need to get rest, to get some sleep. Then it could be a man is looking forward to getting some rest, maybe some much needed rest, and getting some sleep. So there is that as another possibility. The other thing that I wanted to say with the bed card that I had already talked about was this idea about you've made your bed, now you have to lie in it, right? So there could be something of that as well. A man has to actually, in that regard with that phrase, face the consequences of something that he may have done prior, right? So those are our possibilities with gentlemen facing the bed card. If we go the other way around, and now we take a look at the lady, she's facing the dog card. So now for her, this could be an issue regarding a friend, because this is the card that's closest to her. So she's looking forward to something involving a friend or a friendship. She's looking forward to something involving her partner and partnership, and that would fit with the gentleman on the other side of the line, right? So there is that. But she's also looking forward to maybe being on the receiving end of help, support, and assistance, right? Now we talked about that now. That's kind of clarifies more about who's on the receiving end of this help, this support, this assistance, right? So it could be a woman is going to be on the receiving end of some help, support, or assistance. And again, the context could be she's a friend or that she's a partner, right? So there is that to consider. Now, another thing here is if we're talking about the overall theme possibly being about, you know, a relationship becoming more intimate regardless of the context, then this is a matter for the woman who may need this idea of loyalty, faithfulness, and trust. Meaning she's looking to friends and partners that she can trust, that she can put faith in. Right, so there may be that for a woman in particular, again, because her card is closest to this particular card. Now, if I go with the context and the three cards in between, if we go with bed first, bed, again, this could be this idea about intimacy, becoming more intimate, and then that would be maybe there's something of an intimate nature that comes as a surprise, and that may involve a friend if we read the cards from left to right. Right, so for some of us, we may have to consider the idea of, are we contemplating taking a friendship and making it a partnership? Right? Are we willing, are we going to go there to some degree this week? And if so, really be clear on that. You know, with this card, it's sometimes we start a relationship, sexually speaking. We started on that level first. And then, to our surprise, we really just want to be friends. And so you have to be careful doing that unless both parties are, you know, going in with that in mind. You know, that could be the thing. It could also be, you know, this week there may be a friendship with benefits kind of thing. And so, but you have to consider different people view that different ways. You know, they may be in agreement on that going in, and then somewhere along the line it may change. So always keep that in mind. So I'm seeing that as a possibility. So again, I'm thinking that two distinct scenarios are playing out here. We clearly have a situation with a man and a woman, with the man card and the woman card showing up in the same line, right? For some of us, it could just be a matter of exploring that relationship, right? It could be that we're creating intimacy, and so it could just be, if they're friends, then it could just be a matter of that idea of getting to know each other better. It could also be this idea is that there is some sort of physical attraction that may be acted on this week, right? If that's the case, that may be of a surprise to either one party or both. If one person kind of, you know, makes a declaration that they're interested in their friend on that level, you know, and they want to go there and they want to explore that, that may come as a surprise to one party because, again, the bouquet talks about surprises, right? So that may come as a surprise, as a pleasant or a wonderful surprise. So let's keep that in mind because as I'm looking at the cards, there are no really problematic or challenging cards here. So that might be met with a very enthusiastic response. There is that. Another possibility here is that this is a week where we're being asked to focus on a gift or a talent that we possess, with this idea about refining it, perfecting it, that kind of thing, and putting it out into the world for those who need to receive it to be able to do that, right? It may be a gift or a talent that is a form of help, support, or assistance to other people. There is that as well. And then the only other thing that I would offer is that for some people, this could be about exchanging a gift, an actual material gift from one person to another. So there is that. And also to this idea about being helpful, supportive, and offering assistance, I should say, to another person in need this week. So that's how I would look at the overall line. And on that note, I'm going to wrap up this part of our Oracle Outlook reading. Did you notice I said this part? Yes, there's going to be another part. I'm going to once again do the hidden dynamics and the essence card as I did a couple of weeks ago because of the response that it was met with. Again, it was met with wonderful response, and so I just once again want to thank those of you who took the time to watch that video. That was my longest Oracle Outlook video to date, so I appreciate you giving me the gift, the gift of your time. But I'm going to do it in a different fashion than I did that week. So I talked about in that particular video that I was being given specific guidance on how to do that week's reading. I was also given additional guidance, if I can get the words out. Additional guidance, and this is how I got it. So I was told to present that video in one straight shot, going all the way through. That was the first time, and then I was told if I do it again, that the second time I'm supposed to break it up in parts. So I'm going to round out and complete this video and then film a separate video with the hidden dynamics and the essence card. So having said that, I want to thank you for sharing space here with me for this installment, this part of this week's Oracle Outlook. And I look forward to sharing the same space with you right here once again when we do our next video reading together. So until then, I'm hoping that you have a wonderful day, and I'm hoping that you have a wonderful week. Take care.